everyone. Hi, everyone. The show must go on. The show must go on. The show really must go on. I want to say a special thank you to Chef Philippe Labbé for the incredible vegan meal that we've just all shared. So a round of applause for Philippe, please. Bring it up. All right, round two, the show must go on. It's been incredible to get feedback during the break, actually. I've been going around and talking to people, and the feedback has been so wonderful and so humbling. I can feel the magic of Parley is already taking effect, and we're making real magic tonight, and the magic will continue with this next round of talks. So I'm going to introduce a film about ocean plastic pollution. And after the film, Cyrill's going to talk about ocean plastic pollution. This is a film by Chris Jordan. It was set in the Midway Atoll, and hopefully the film will set the tone for the next set of talks. All right, so we're going to roll the movie. We're going to roll the film, and then we're going to hear from Cyrill. All right, enjoy. Awesome. Thank you.
Do we have the courage to face the realities of our time and allow ourselves to feel deeply enough that it transforms us and our future? Come with me on a journey through the eye of beauty. Across an ocean of grief. And beyond.
Guys? Yeah, it's a bit difficult to hear applause for that because, first of all, I didn't make the film. And second, it's like really sad. But the point is, what we can really applaud for is that the film had an amazing effect. And one of the effects was that we were like focusing on ocean plastic after we saw it first. And if I'm getting my charts, then I'm able to tell you what's going on. Plastic. Can I get my next chart? Thank you. So plastic, as you just saw it, it's been mistaken as food by animals, by birds, by fish, by whales. You see probably pictures in the media where whales die because they swallowed a plastic bag. The fact is, plastic as we know it, plastic as we use it, is a design failure because it never dies. Once it's produced, it's there, and it will definitely not go away. And even if you burn it, it stays as pollution on this planet. So we are facing a problem that the planet is plasticized. It's like plastic has gone anywhere and everywhere. You learned from Sylvia Earle, it went even down to the level of plankton. Like the smallest animals even eat plastic now and consume it and die of it. So the question for us was, okay, we can organize a lot of talks, we can organize a lot of meetings, we can bring people together, but how can we actually change something? And so we thought, okay, we should look at this problem, this specific problem, because it's very close to our heart. It's very close to what we do. We are creating products. I was designing and promoting products for a long time with my team. And so plastic was the material we picked and chose. And how can we end that problem? How can we disrupt that cycle? And the first thing is we have to just stop using it because there is enough plastic out there already. It's everywhere. It's in nature. It's in us, in animals. It's in rivers, in lakes. And we should not produce more plastic. And that's the first step. And then to really end that problem, because we are kind of plastic addicts. We are using it everywhere. Our life pretty much is based on plastic on a lot of levels, professional and private. And in order to cater that need for this material that is so flexible, so durable, and so perfect in a way, it never dies, in a good and in a bad way, we have to reinvent plastic. That's the ultimate solution. We have to kind of take something away from the market and put something back. So that's the long-term strategy. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do it with you. So the first thing that we thought was nobody really knows about the problem. And so we came up with an idea and said, we have to turn this problem into an opportunity. We have to find a way to do something out of something broken. And so we turned ocean plastic debris, this little tiny stuff that is in such a bad quality, we turned it into fashion, and we created a denim line, and we created different things and shoes. But most of all, we went into the lab and we spoke to people, the scientists, and said, listen, here is all this material. It's mixed, it's bad, it's coming from the beaches, we're collecting it, and what can we do with it? And they came back with a lot of cool stuff. And we are not super rich. We are not BASF or something like a big chemical major company. We're just like small Parley. And we already, in like a few months, with a little bit of funding, we could already find a lot of ways how you can use that trash. But what you probably saw in the media was like we were using it for fashion. And what we achieved is something we are kind of proud of. Suddenly ocean plastic was something people wanted to do luxury products with, and we had like 400 company requests of how can we use plastic or ocean plastic for yarn, for fabric, for hard piece, for beauty products. And so that's something we achieved in a very short time, and that gives hope, that is motivating. And now I want to show you how we can all do it together. So after we created a market for ocean plastic, we found out that the new luxury the new luxury, the new definition of luxury is purpose. You know, we got everything. We can pretty much afford anything. You can buy an original for a lot of money, or you go to H&M or whatever. You have access to things. But what was always missing is pretty much this feeling of doing something special, having something special, like supporting something special. And it is beautiful to know that there's a product out there that can actually save a life, because every piece of plastic you're taking off a beach, every piece of plastic that you're taking out of the water, every piece of gill net or ghost net, fishing gear we're taking out of the sea can save life. So that means every product we're creating with that has that message and gives all of us the feeling of, when we're consuming it, that our wallet has suddenly a purpose. We're doing something that makes sense. So for me, purpose is the new luxury, and ocean plastic's the new luxury. So how can we end plastic pollution for good? I can't do it. You can't do it alone. Nobody can do it alone, but we can do it together. And here is what I want to present today, our strategy. And we call it the AIR strategy. And the idea is simple. Every second breath we take is generated by the oceans. So if you're, and Guillaume would be able to demonstrate that now. So if you stop breathing, taking off every second breath, we're looking very pale and probably green and weird. And we wanted to give something back. We think, like, let's give air to the oceans. Let's create a formula that we all can obey. And it's very simple. It's AIR. It's avoid, intercept, and redesign. And I get the next thing. So avoid means try to stop using plastic. And you can do that on a private level. You can say, don't use plastic bags. Don't use straws. Don't use little plastic packages where there is sugar in it. Ignore and demand not to have tea bags made of plastic. And there's a lot we can do on a private level, but there's a lot what we can do on a professional level. And which means, like, just don't use plastic wherever you can. And if you have to use it, don't use new plastic. Don't use virgin plastic for which new fossil fuel is being used. Go for recycling materials. Go for ocean plastic, or go for other post-consumer recycling materials. So avoid using plastic as much as you can. And if you can't avoid it, avoid new plastic. And then there is intercept. And we're going one back, please. Intercept, the I in AIR. We build a global network at Parley with a lot of partners. And Shahina is here from Beam in Maldives. And there are so many organizations we partnered up with. And what they do is they go to the beaches, they clean them up, they get the stuff off the beaches, and we take all their trash, like a waste management company. And we help and work with them and find out how can we avoid the trash. And they learn from us, we learn from them, and we develop systems for remote islands, for remote areas. And we really develop things or formulas that we can replicate. And at the end of the day, it's really about intercept plastic wherever you can. And you can do that at home as well. It's just like, if you use plastic, make sure it gets recycled. It's something little what you can do, but it doesn't mean per se that it's going to the right recycling facility. But you know what? We have to start somewhere. We do it in a big scale at Parley, but everybody can do it in a small scale. Intercept plastic, get it out of nature, keep it in the system. That's the I. That's the second pillar. And the third pillar is redesign. We have to invent our way out of this mess. We can't accept it. There's no way. And in that context, I just want to kill here once and for all the word sustainability. Sustainability is so incredibly boring. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be sustainable. You know, we want to make the next step. We want to innovate. We are human. We always make the next step. We don't want to wait and sit and sleep and maintain and be sustainable. It's so boring. Eco-innovation, innovate our way, you know, out of this, and science the shit out of it, as Jeffrey would say. Jefferson, sorry, that was a stupid mistake. The thing is, we are human, and it's not too late. And I feel we have experienced that in a few months, you know. We can create new materials, and we can end some product categories. We can end disposable plastic bags. We can just simply stop producing them, and we can also attack the plastic bottle. There are so many items. There are these little toothpicks with a little nylon strip in between that you buy to clean your teeth, and then you toss them on the floor. We don't need that stuff. I think there's a lot of things we can do. And that is pretty much the message that I have. And now I want to present someone who is so crucial in that, because he had taken it on. And I'm so happy and so proud, because without that, I would probably not even believe that any company on this planet would go the way with us, or even demand more and even increase the pace. And I am really, really happy to introduce Eric Liedtke from Adidas. He's our founding partner, and I'm very thankful.
All right. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. There's been a lot of talk the last 10 days about climate change. I think we can celebrate the fact that oceans is on the agenda for the first time. I heard a lot about that, but we also know that oceans are in danger. And without ocean health, we die. So I took the opportunity as a businessman to come out here today and join you guys, because I think business needs to be part of change. I had a healthy debate with Vivian over dinner, and it was a healthy debate. I'm not sure either one of us agreed at the end, but I think ultimately there's a distrust for business, and I think that's natural. But I stand here today saying we're not going to settle for that. So as we talk about business and its responsibility, Adidas and myself, we want to redefine the standards of corporate sustainability. And we want to start working with the oceans to prove that and do that differently. We want to do that to inspire others, not just other corporations, but our employees, our friends, and of course our families, and make sure they're inspired by our actions and not just what we make, but what we stand for. So as we move forward, we know it. The climate's warming, the oceans are dying, and we've got to find a way out of it. And the world leaders, they're discussing, they're negotiating. Unfortunately, I believe they're compromising, and maybe 1.5 is not achievable. I hope to God it is, which should be 1 in my opinion. But if we don't come out with 1.5, then we know we've failed. So as we go forward then, the business leaders then, people of my colleagues in other industries, we're waiting. And why are we waiting? Because we're hiding. We're hiding behind profits. And we're hiding behind the basically consistency and basically the addiction of the status quo. And that's a word that Captain Paul used earlier today. It's about this addiction that we're coming into. And it refuses us to move. We get stuck in the mud because it's good enough. We keep moving forward. We keep pushing it down the road. But it's not good enough if you're listening to all the signals, as we heard earlier today. So change is hard. I get it. We get it at Adidas. But not changing is not an option. We're simply out of time. So business needs to stand up and be part of the solution. And what I'd like to do is spend the rest of the time talking about what we're doing from that solution. So we at Adidas, we look at this crisis, if you will, as an opportunity, because there's really no other way to look at it. You can either hide from a crisis, or you can look it in the eye and you can approach the crisis standing tall and look at it as an opportunity to flip the script and create something new. And that may mean we have to trade out for new consumers. That may mean we need to create new product, but we're up for that challenge, and we've already started. Our strategy is really twofold, and it's quite simple. One is have a bias for action. We try to have a bias for action in everything we do. But ultimately, it comes down, it's most important when we're talking about the sustainability of the earth. Sorry, Cyrill, I can't come up with a better word. But the sustainability of the earth. Because we're on a time bomb right now, and we need to fix things yesterday. So when we turn our attention to the oceans, it's even more important. We specifically look at all the problems, but in my experience, in our business, it's helpful to take problems one by one and really to narrow the focus and not let perfect get in the way of being better. So what's that first step? I've signed up with Cyrill and Parley to take plastics out of the issue. So as we look at plastics and we look at the problem of plastics, look at it. Plastics constitutes 90% of the trash in the oceans today. There's on average 65,000 pieces of plastic on the ocean's surface in every square mile. Think about your daily life. Cyrill just listed a few. Think about how much plastic you've used today. Think about how much plastic you used in a week. Do you know that none of that plastic that we've ever made is ever going away. Has not gone away since we've made it. And the plastic we use today as consumers is going to be with us for another 500 or 1,000 years. So that impact of plastics must be tackled today, because as it floats around the surface, you can sure as hell bet it's going to end up in the oceans. So as we partner with Parley and we partner against plastics, we really go after some clear thing, and we're relentlessly focused on eliminating plastic from Adidas's footprint globally. So since we partnered with him in April, we basically said we are going to do the following things. We will eliminate plastic bags in our retail outlets by April of next year. That's 20 million bags gone out of the system. No more new plastic. By the end of this year, we will eliminate microbeads in our body washes. That's a full 2 years before anybody else in the industry. We have eliminated our plastic bottles at headquarters in Germany. Sounds like a small thing, but it's a big thing we can all do tomorrow. And in 2016, we'll do that in all of our global offices. That's over 25 different offices no longer drinking out of plastic bottles. It sometimes is a small thing you do. And on top of that, we sent our first team down to the Maldives in the Parley Ocean Project to really learn firsthand about the crisis happening on these island states and what needs to be done to go after that. And in June at the United Nations, at the last Parley meeting, we introduced the first ocean plastic recovered footwear shoe. It was a concept car. We're very excited about it. And that shoe is actually going to come out for commercial purposes in April of next year. So these combined efforts not only to turn off the tap of plastic flowing into the oceans, they also resonate with our consumers, because we're showing they look for not just what we make, but increasingly they resonate with what we stand for. And I think that's the conundrum, and that's the paradigm shift we're experiencing. People care, and we can bet on the better angels of our human nature that they're going to care to make the right choice. It doesn't mean they're going to make a compromise, but it means they're going to look for us to give them a choice of equal product. One for one, if we stand for sustainability and we stand for the future, then they will vote for us 9 times out of 10. That's my belief in the people we talk to.
Bravo.
So, thank you very much. So bias for action when it comes to all things sustainability. There's no time to wait. The second one that we talk about is innovation. And this is something that Cyrill and I always talk about. He calls it eco-innovation. I like that as well. But you need to tackle things through innovation. So we look at every opportunity at Adidas as an opportunity to create something new, whether it be products, services, or experiences. And as we look at those, and as we look at innovation against things, sustainability as a topic is a gold mine of innovative techniques, because it forces you to readdress and rethink everything that's been done before. If you think about how you manufacture something, if you think about the materials you use, and you think about how you construct something, it forces you to relook at all of those things through the eyes of sustainability, through the eyes of being environmentally friendly, whether that be eliminating plastic or whether that be reducing your carbon footprint. So we break down our innovation efforts into 3 basic buckets. Reduce. First and foremost, we want to reduce our footprint. We make too much stuff, and we're obsessed with what we say, meaning more by doing less. And that means really focusing down on what we have. You'd be surprised at a global company that's doing 17 billion euros in business, how much waste and stuff we make that can be cut down. So we're having a heyday ratcheting that down, and that's the first area of our innovation, because it does require us to go to market differently, us to construct differently. The second thing is replace. And here, we're looking at materials that are just as good as existing materials that we can replace. And a little soundbite for you guys is that we currently make about 320 million yards of polyester a year. 320 million yards. To put it in terms you can maybe get your head around, that's 260 million t-shirts of plastic. Polyester is just another form of plastic. We make new ones. We make that out of virgin polyester every year. We're now on a journey. We've been on a journey for quite some time to make that all recycled polyester. But since we met Cyrill and we started talking about recovered ocean plastic, we're now flipping the switch to do that. So in the next couple years, look for us to announce that we've gone to 260 million t-shirts from virgin polyester to recovered ocean plastic.
Yes.
That takes 260 million plastic things we never need to make, and takes 260 million t-shirts out of the ocean directly. So, and the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is ocean plastic footwear. Because this is an area that we get really excited about. Because footwear is what we grow up doing, and we're obsessed with now making things out of recovered plastic. You heard earlier from Ian, the New York Times, and I think Captain Paul Watson talked about it. We were lucky enough to have those guys as partners that really recovered a ton of gill net that came out of the Thunder exploration or conquering, whatever you guys did with the Thunder, whatever we call it, but taking over the Thunder. And there's all this gill net to be used then. And we worked with Sea Shepherds and we worked with Parley to convert that and be able to make some products. So at the UN this year, we did introduce a shoe with a construction that featured gill net on the product. And we'll bring that, as I said earlier, to market in April. But we didn't want to stop there, because ultimately, that product was good, but it wasn't good enough because it wasn't 100% recovered ocean plastic. So due to new technologies, and I'm talking about 3D printing, like the product I have on my foot right now, and I'm talking about knitted uppers, where we can do things differently, we were able to manufacture a product that's just about 95%, if not 100, because it has some rubber on the outsole, 95% recovered ocean plastic. And I'd like to show you guys that today. So here it is. This was taken from the recovery of the gill net by Sea Shepherd in tracking the Thunder. You see the green? We had to grind up the gill net into compounds we could use. The midsole was created in a 3D printing machine in Erlangen, Germany, where they know how to do such things, technology. And the upper was then used, the same yarns, but was used to create knitted. So again, proof of concept, ocean plastic. I'm wearing an actual 3D printed shoe right now, so the performance will work. This one does not at this time. We haven't got it right, but we're very proud of what we were able to do here in just a short time of the last really 5 or 6 months. So look for us to make this a performance product and bring it to market and continue to use and complete the circle and upcycle the product that comes out of the oceans. So, and my question, which is Cyrill raised earlier, is why can't all 3D printed product be made out of recovered ocean plastic? It doesn't have to be just footwear, but all of you are artists and creators, filmmakers, whatever you may be in different industries. Why can't you be making all of your 3D printed product out of recovered ocean plastic? We'll lead the way, we're showing the way, but let's step it up. So, in summary, these ideas, these actions are meant to provide a glimmer of what is possible, guys. And hopefully provide some inspiration for you to come join us on the way that we're going, to take action. What we've learned at Adidas is you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to do everything. All you need to do is be willing to do your part. Yeah. And Patricia, you told me that last time I saw you. It was the butterfly story from France, remember? It's about doing your part. Yeah. And that's all we're trying to do is, we can't figure it out ourselves, but this is all about collaboration. It's all about helping each other. So when we joined Parley, we didn't know where we were going, right? We knew we had to take some action. We knew we had to get involved. We knew we had to do our part. And we knew we could rely on our passion, we could rely on our people, and we could rely on our partners to figure it out. So please join us and all you guys out on the stream to doing your part. Thank you very much.
Eric Littner. Wow, that's not baby steps. That is one big step forward. 6 months ago, I don't think anybody would have thought about putting Adidas and eco-innovation in the same bracket. But right here, right now, that reality has changed. And those two things are going to become synonymous. These are huge numbers. This is a massive global business changing its behavior from the bottom up all the way through the chain. And I really, really think, I love the dialogue, I love the Parley. We want to continue the Parley because as many solutions are provided, there are additional problems that are going to come down the line. But I want to really give it up for Eric because this is a huge, huge deal. And it's something that so many other businesses can copy.
Thank you so much. Let's talk. We're showing now the video so you know more about Current.
That's it. So we started a program which is 3 years. We're going on 9 expeditions. We're taking artists, scientists, environmentalists, other cultural producers out into the field. The field is the South Pacific, and we're looking for new ways to communicate these issues and actually find applicable solutions out there in the field and provide these artists and scientists with immersive oceanic experiences. And since Cyrill is quite impatient, we're just going to show you a film which shows you where we're going, what we're doing, and all of that with beautiful images.
Thank you.
Enjoy the film.
The current is the exploratory soul of TBA21. It's a program where we invite artists, scientists, environmentalists, thinkers, other cultural producers to come into the field. And the field is wide. And the field is the Pacific.
TBA21 is a contemporary art foundation that I created in 2002. The foundation has developed a pioneering reputation, particularly in its interdisciplinary approach, which defies traditional categorization in the art world. And, you know, this is one of those projects.
The current seeks to create culture outside of the traditional institution and focuses on knowledge production rather than art production. By bringing makers from different disciplines out into the field, we collect a series of stories and points of views and create a kaleidoscope to unfold the places we visit.
There are very many urgent issues on climate change, and I know that the oceans play a very vital role in keeping the balance and even possibly reversing climate change in a positive direction.
We're at a point in time where we can say, okay, good, it's like it's all over. We're at the end and you're bombarded with terrible facts, but there has to be hope. There has to be hope, and there has to be the possibility to do something about it. The information is there about what's happening out there, what's happening in the world. It's just about how do we get people to care about our planet? How do we empower them to really take action and be an agent of change? That's the mission.
In the right context, art is the very powerful weapon, and artists know how to use it to tell an important story.
That's why we're putting artists who are magicians in communication together with scientists to really find a new message and find applicable solutions that no one in the lab would think of.
I do want to encourage other people to get more personal again, and that this intimate experience of being on an exploration vessel, traveling to very remote areas, immersing oneself in other cultures and underneath the water for a real oceanic experience is the only way we're going to be able to elaborate the stories and the urgency of saving the ocean.
Well, you push people to think outside of the box by taking them outside of the box. Artist has the freedom to imagine and reimagine and reimagine what is, what was, and what could be.
Thank you, Francesca, for bringing that to us. To call him a pirate, to call this man a pirate is to do him a disservice. He is the greatest ocean activist on this planet. He's the patron saint of Parley. He is the ocean warrior. He is Paul Watson, and I'd like you all to invite him to the stage.
Thank you.
Is this on now? You're on, man.
Thank you.
You're on.
Thank you. Thank you. 30 years ago, when I was giving warnings about diminishment of fish populations, plastic pollution, other problems in the ocean, I was dismissed as a gloom and doom Cassandra. Of course, I did point out at the time that Cassandra might have predicted doom and gloom, but she was right. Now,
it's very gratifying to see that what I was saying back then is now being taken seriously. The great thing about COP21 is that, one, it's focusing international attention on the problem, and two, it has been given great credibility by the fact that all of these heads of states have attended that. And I think that's what we can really see as the positive outcome of COP21. But sometimes I think that the problem seems just so overwhelming. And a lot of people tell me that, well, you know, what can we do? I mean, what can we do? It's just, who are we? We're just so small and they're so powerful. But, you know, many, many years ago in 1973, I was a medic for the American Indian movement during the occupation of Wounded Knee in South Dakota when we were surrounded by 2,000 US federal troops shooting at us. And I said to Russell Means, who is the leader of the American Indian movement at the time, I said, we don't have a chance here. We're surrounded, they're shooting at us. We can't possibly win. Why are we doing this? And he said, well, we don't do what we do because we're going to win or lose. We don't focus on that. We do what we do because it's the right thing to do. It's the only thing to do. It's the just thing to do. And he said, go forward, forget about the odds against you, forget about the consequences, just go forward and do what needs to be done. And I believe that the answer to any impossible situation, which sometimes it seems like impossible to solve, is to simply find an impossible answer. And that impossible answer can be found. 1972, the very idea that Nelson Mandela would be president of South Africa that year was unthinkable and impossible. And yet, it came to pass. The impossible became possible. I think that through creativity, through the genius of so many people of talent, that we can find answers to this seemingly impossible situation. And we can do that through diversity of ideas, diversity of strategies, diversity of imagination. But not only that, we have to have the passion to find the answers, and we have to harness that imagination and that passion to courage to go forward and implement those strategies. And I see that movement happening now. I'm very optimistic about it. I do believe that we can save our oceans. We really don't have any choice. If we don't, the ocean dies. If the ocean dies, we die. We want to live. And most importantly, I want to live in a world that has whales and sharks and seals and elephants and trees and bats and all these other creatures that make it possible for us to be here, because without them, we're nothing. We do not survive. That is our responsibility. That is our obligation as humans in order to protect. I mean, that's the one thing we can do. We're not really contributing much else, but what we can do is contribute this thing called responsibility. Thank you.
We love you. We love you. We love you. Art. We're ping-ponging between activism and art. I guess you can see a theme, a correlation coming on. I'm really proud to introduce a phenomenal artist. Trained as an architect, he deploys insights from engineering, physics, chemistry, aeronautics, and materials of science in his work. He creates inflatable airborne biospheres. He is an Imagineer of beautiful things. It's the role of artists to take complicated ideas, to take information, data, difficult to understand ideas, and make it possible for us to step into a new reality, to bring new perspectives to all of our lives. I'd really like to welcome Thomas Saraceno to the stage and give him a round of applause.
There we are. You see, yeah. Well, if you can put a little bit more microphone to, because I'm a little bit deaf, a problem to listen to me. No, I kind of will try to manage, but I promise that I will do it really in 8 minutes. This means, well, I got 12, I think so. But I have always a little bit of a problem of having too many slides. And today also, I think so we are I cut it down 5 minutes ago from 200 to 80. This means it's bear a little bit a challenge of being very imaginative and maybe try to, together we can kind of watch through and imagine maybe something together. This mean one of the things which I'm kind of trying to think, and I thought, very boring at the beginning. I thought there was a sentence which I think so maybe it link a little bit with this new epoch which we are trying to invent. Thank you. From the Anthropocene to the Aerocene, and there was a small sentence written by Jonathan Redfoot which said, we tend to think of ourselves as living at the surface of the planet, but we also live on the bottom of the ocean of air. I'm a little bit obsessed with the idea of air, and I said to Cyrill also, it's like and also through Francesca also when she invited me to the boat and we were there together. I think so it's a lot about this kind of connection between the air, the ocean, and where we tend to live. It was beautiful, the sentence on Watson. I think so was a big inspiration on Buckminster Fuller when he kind of introduced the concept of the spaceship Earth. This means I will try to go quickly. I just already lose some minutes, but I work with a studio in Berlin. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And this is something that now you can see is at Grand Palais, is up there. It will be up for 2 days more. And there is something which I'm kind of pretty much obsessed. The other part is like about spiders and how spiders fly and how they go up ballooning. And this means there is something which they learn how to ride the thermodynamic winds and how they make these beautiful choreographic drawings. And I have been imagining for quite some time that maybe we can learn from the spiders and the way how to migrate, and they fly from one place to the other, thousands of kilometers, without having the possibility to have wings to really move from one place to the other one. And does it mean, we kind of, I thought to think like how we can change the world from the Anthropocene to the Aerocene. And this new epoch somehow is something which I don't know yet what is, but we have some ideas of maybe how we can do it. Does it mean, we just came back 2 weeks ago from the White Sands. We break a world record on being able to lift a person in the air only with a sun. When I said only with the sun, there is no solar panel, there is no battery, there is no hydrogen, there is no helium, and it's just only the burner that usually hot air balloon use is the sun in itself. I mean, we just break it for 3 hours. We were 8 people on board. And a little bit, I tell you, well, here we not only lift 1 person, but 2 persons at the same time. It has been, well, some other couple of sculptures, and remember, it's quite remarkable. If you think how many people have been lifted in this way, only 12 people in history of humanity. This means it's something very, very rare, and people are very, very suspicious. But if you buy Nature magazine, I'm very proud as being an artist to have 4 pages in the Nature magazine. I never thought I would be there. Nevertheless, we go up there, and, well, I will not get in detail because I promise with the 3 minutes, but Aerocene, you can build it out of this. I think so today was a lot about plastic and plastic pollution. This is in Cuba, when we have been collecting some of these plastic bags. It's in Italy, in Museo Solar, and then we usually do workshop, we paste together plastic bags, the sun come up inside these, and then you get on the air. There's nothing else that plastic and reuse plastic or try to upcycle the plastic and try to get up into the air. This means, it's kind of everybody can do it, very simple. You can kind of, maybe upgrade the way how we relate with plastic. There have been a lot of kind of different actions. There is people in the Peruvian rainforest which have suffering a lot from oil spills, from big multinational also, which maybe they are not so conscious of the problem that they are putting up there, and then they start to build some of these sculptures, change the use of plastic and monitoring and resensing how fishes. We are signing a petition to try to change the law of the air, of how we use and how we transport, and how today maybe this sculpture somehow in one moment will take over. This means if anybody of you is interested, come tomorrow to Grand Palais and sign the petition. We are so much depending on fossil fuel, and this means there's a Nobel Prize who have signed already the petition. We have 3. This was with Francesca, that we have been there. We took out from Berlin also. We flew 500 kilometers in 5 hours. This is one of the early prototypes we have been building. Also was second-hand plastic. We received a donation from a company. These are 2 of them, and we were flying quite high. This means 500 kilometers in 5 hours. We are burning any fossil fuel and without having batteries also in the way how you sustain the flight. This means, 30% of the pollution usually come from mobility and transportation. And one of the things also you have to think, I'm always thinking this kind of planetary way of how the Earth still spin around the sun. This means I've been speculating for quite a lot of how you could build, maybe some flying cities, how you can, sense differently, how you can have some biosphere, how we could live maybe also in resensing how we live. And today we are all flying on this spaceship Earth, as Fuller might have said, or Watson today. And this means these are some of the petitions. This is how we are getting. We are working with MIT, with Red Cross, with many other associations. There is a beautiful magazine if some of you want it. And I think so. I'm done. And even 1 minute before. Thank you.
Holy shit, that was amazing. Thomas, you're mind-blowing. You're really mind-blowing. The intersection of art and science and how how it can show us new future possibilities. Thomas Saraceno, you're a star. I'm going to welcome another star, a man of many lives. This is Leyland Melvin. He began his life as a pro NFL player for the Dallas Cowboys. He then went into space as an astronaut. He's a NASA educator. I'm just going to give you a little bit of biog on Leyland so you know what you're about to meet, who you're about to meet. He was appointed head of NASA Education and Training. He served as the co-chair of the White House's Federal Coordination in Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. So he led the STEM Education Task Force. He uses his life story as an athlete, astronaut, scientist, engineer, photographer, and musician to help inspire the next generation of explorers to pursue STEM careers. I really want you to put your hands together, give a warm round of applause for Leyland Melvin.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Tomas told me that he was going to take me for a ride on his balloon one day, and I said, how far can we go? He said, as far as you want to go. But I'm just so happy to be here. I flew over the Atlantic this morning. I got here around 10 o'clock, and I was just thinking about what I was going to tell you guys. And I think about all the people that have been in my life that have helped inspire me to believe in myself and do anything that I want to do. And this community of creatives, of scientists, of engineers, of technologists are going to change the world. And it starts with inspiration. So what all of you are doing to create and inspire and motivate, Eric, what you're doing to build, make shoes out of plastic. I mean, all these things are so critical to saving our planet ocean, as Cyrill said. You go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Thanks. So if you see this picture here, let me stand over here. This was Space Shuttle Atlantis in 2009, my last time flying in space. We inverted the shuttle, and if you look in the front, there are windows that are looking down at the planet. So if any of you have ever been on a glass-bottom boat, where you sat on the boat and you were looking down at the water, that's what we were doing. We were sitting in the windows, looking down at the planet, traveling 17,500 miles per hour, going around the planet every 90 minutes. Seeing a sunrise and a sunset every 45 minutes. Looking at 2/3 of the planet being this blue ocean and thinking how magnificently beautiful it is. Next slide. Looking at places in the Caribbean and coral and atolls are just simply fantastic. Next slide. And then you see this beauty, and I'm up there having this transformative moment. I'm having this thing called the orbital effect or orbital shift. My brain has now cognitively shifted to think that our planet is so small. Nicholas said earlier today that we're a small village. And if you think about 2/3 of the planet is water, the rest of it is this small village. So we have to work together. I flew in space with people we used to fight against. And we were living and working together to advance ourselves, to explore and advance our civilization. So I think about the oceans and how this group in here is going to come together with Cyrill and Parley to help change the planet. in a positive way. COP21 being associated with that is the first step. But we need COP22, 23 that is all dedicated to the oceans, because that's going to change the world in a significant way. If you think about the village that we have here on the planet, if you think about STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, that's the combination of all disciplines to give kids an opportunity to have hands-on experiential activities. When I've worked with kids, there's some kids in LA in the inner city who live 5 miles from the ocean and have never been there. So we have to make sure that all of our kids, which are our future explorers, have opportunities to see the oceans and see how they can impact it in a positive way. So I just want to say I've been very blessed to have this opportunity to fly in space 2 times. And I'm even more blessed to be with a community and a village of people that want to change the world in a positive way. Thank you.
I think we're all having a bit of an orbital shift tonight. He has the overview. That is the man with the total overview. This is a blue planet. Remember that. This is a blue planet. Planet Ocean. I want to do something. This is our last speaker, okay? And I want to do something collaborative to welcome him to the stage. I want you all to do that beautiful chorus of tinkling on the glasses that you gave me earlier. Let's all tinkle together, because this is an incredible composer, an incredible musician, an electronic music pioneer. More tinkling, a real cacophony, a symphony of tinkling, to welcome on stage the founder of Kraftwerk, the man who changed music as we know it, electronic music pioneer, Florian Schneider.
Guten Abend.
Just ask him what he's wearing.
Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Some years ago, I was with my friend Rainer Opoku, who's sitting in the back. The gray, or better maybe dark, eminence of Parley. And we flew to Africa, to his home country, Ghana. And I wanted to take a swim in the ocean, of course. And I saw a family of fishermen, the whole family, doing fishing. They came with simple boats, wooden boats, and took the net. And then I helped them. I wanted to make myself helpful for them. Little tiny fishes and a lot of plastic. And on the horizon of the ocean, you could see the big fish trawlers from Europe, I guess, the industry. That made me really sad. Okay, please, I have a little piece of music for you.
Drops, real drops of water. For the oceans.
For the oceans.
For the oceans. For the oceans. So we've come to the end, but not the end. We've come to the end of the speakers, the beginning of the rest of the night. So much innovation, so much newness, and new ways have been shown. Parley is the new way forward. I want to say a big thank you to everybody here tonight and all of our speakers. A round of applause to everyone who contributed to tonight.
And Jefferson, thank you so much for doing this, and I'm happy about our collaboration because we're doing a lot of projects too. We're not telling about it now, but we're gonna tell you soon. And tomorrow between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. we have 3 collaboration sessions here. We turn this place, this hotel, into an open collaboration space for you guys to stop by. We're gonna discuss what we can do together. And out there is a lot of merchandising, like cool badges, cool t-shirts, cool stuff, what you can get. But before we are going to the party, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank everybody who made this possible tonight, for donating services or just for helping to dedicating so much time to moderating and creating a beautiful atmosphere here and helping and supporting. Thanks to you, thanks to Dazed Media. And actually, there is the track now on your website.
Have fun, enjoy.
Bye-bye.
For the oceans.